Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on BeamNG Drive at the Proving Grounds circuit, going to be driving some more vehicles till destruction until they fall apart and can no longer continue moving. We have a little bit of a theme going on today of extra long vehicles. We start with a D series, a fairly sensible truck, but this is a elongated version. There is like an extended version in the base game, but this is much longer than that. It's essentially the very basic truck, just a bit bigger. It's rear-wheel drive, which is interesting. The drive shaft I'm very concerned about because, well, front engine rear drive has problems with the long drive shaft, the chassis bending and the drive shaft going snap. I mean, this is, gargantuan, and that is a real concern. It's going to shake about. I don't know how the extra length is going to affect this one, if I'm honest with you. There's probably a bit more weight to it. It's weight in different places, which means it's probably going to land jumps differently. I'm expecting... Okay, we're going to have a prediction. I might be completely wrong. I'm expecting there to be drive shaft related issues, potentially chassis bending issues going on with this truck. I could be wrong though. The suspension is very strong. It takes a lot to kill the suspension on a D series, and I don't know whether this is going to be doing anywhere near enough damage. Why is that not steer? I didn't want to steer. I thought I broke it at the front for a minute, but nope. Oh, crashing back down. Now, I did have to do a quick test actually to see this will fit through the spinners. In pristine condition, this does make it through the spinners, so we don't have to avoid it. We don't have to put an asterisk on the thing saying it had to miss out particles. Got to go slowly through here, yes, because it is a massive truck. It's just, the sheer length of it is quite a lot. So you do have to be a little bit slow through there, but it will make it through. Some of the limos aren't too crazy dissimilar in length to this, but this was not designed to be this length. If you like, still the limos are a stupid length as well for this kind of a course. So, yeah. Oh, that just shattered everything off the back of it. The bed part is kind of fallen off slightly. You can already see how it's... Well, I say how it's bowed. It's actually not bowed the chassis itself too much. That's good. A lot of the damage has been more done to the bed that's kind of disconnected. Now, I've got concerns with that. I'm allowed to pull debris clear, but at the moment it's still welded enough onto the chassis that I can't pull it off. But if it starts flailing around and gets caught in the wheels, that could give us some real trouble. And also, if I try and pull it free and it does catch on a wheel, you can just tear the wheel itself off. So, we're going to try and... we're going to have to leave it and just hope that it kind of I kind of just want it to, I guess, fall off. That would be the best outcome for this. Yeah, it's not very well on in the back. I think perhaps because of the length of this vehicle, there's now so much vibration, so much movement, so much twisting going on in the chassis that it's just unpinged it immediately, unwelded it, unstuck it immediately. So, yeah, is it probably long for this world? We shall see. It is currently phasing through the chassis. We've got a bit of steering damage, actually. Oh, going on at the front there. It's pulling a bit to the left, nothing major. Oh, we can slide the truck around, that's fine. I guess it's not so much a surprise. It does fly a bit funny through the air sometimes because of the length of the wheelbase over some of these bumps. It's kind of... It changes the flight path because the rear of it's hitting a bump at a different time to the shortened version of the truck, basically. So I think we might see it get shaken around a little bit more in some places. We haven't got too many crazy... We haven't got like a motocross... what was it, like moguls? I think I'm thinking of the right term. We haven't got any of those. We've got the Toblerones here that's kind of the equivalent, but they're not quite big enough to really throw this truck around. They throw some vehicles around, but they don't cause issues for this. Yeah, we will have to wait and see what it does on the jumps. They are certainly the biggest concern for this truck. I don't think like the checkerboard, these speed bumps, they're not going to do anything to stop a D series. It's the jumps, the big landings of the jumps. They're the concerning part. The very concerning part, shall we say. How are we doing steering? Okay, it's not too bad, actually. Maybe it's just like a road positioning or something. That's a big hit on the front right, but we could probably do without. How is the chassis? It's very difficult to tell. With the bed having fallen down, it's actually very difficult to tell how buckled that chassis might be. It looks awful, but that's mostly just the bodywork, essentially. The front end's actually not in too bad. I think the front bumper's still connected to the car even, which is a rarity around here. Yeah, the front bumper's a little bit dinged up, but it's surprisingly well held together at the moment. I get the feeling that this might be one of, and you often get this with things like rally cars, and especially with like the stronger trucks and so on, the off-roaders. You'll get this, they'll run, and they'll run really well for quite a while, and then all of a sudden there'll be one thing that goes, and then that just starts a death spiral, and often that one thing, oh dear, can be very catastrophic. That is not what I needed to see here. That is not good. Please don't eat up the wheel. Okay, the wheel does seem to be okay with this current predicament. It has had a small effect on the handling, I think, but okay, the wheel doesn't really. It seems to be weirdly clipping. I'm going to not worry too much about it, basically. Oh, and I'm not going to worry too much about it because I can't do anything about it at the moment. I should probably be concerned that the bed is going to get caught on the checkerboard and it's going to then tear a wheel apart. It doesn't seem to be, though. I mean, we're still able to drive this pretty fast around here and not get into too much trouble. Now, of course, that is risking the curse of the commentator. Never say stuff like that. But yeah, we went across the checkerboard, we went across the shallow grave, all of that at speed, and it didn't do anything silly with the bed of the truck. Here, I guess it might be a different story. If it gets caught, we're in trouble, but at this stage, at this moment in time, it's not getting caught, so that is fine. We will bounce our way around here. What is going to happen on the really big jump? And it's still getting about the same sort of speed that it was beforehand, so it's not got drastically slower. It's not causing like a tyre up or something. Oh, there goes the exhaust. Oh, we've gone for a bit of a spin. That's fine. Yeah, I don't care about the exhaust. It makes it much louder. That's it. It's not a particularly significant part in terms of this series, at least. Any other damage, so to speak, from that landing? Front right looks okay. Maybe front right. Actually, I take it back. Front right might look a little bit damaged compared to the front left, but doesn't seem to be anything major. Oh, that's not the angle we wanted to come off of there, particularly. Can we go forward still? We can. The wheel is kind of jittery. It's kind of mostly not clipping, but there's obviously a little bit of jittering going on. I'm worried that at some point this is going to move and it's going to wedge in the wheel and everything's just going to shred itself apart. That could be that one hit KO, is where if the bed gets eaten by the rear wheel, I can't do much about it. It's so wedged in there, if I try and no-grab that out, I'm going to do way more damage. It's currently not interfering, so I'm just going to have to go with it. Now we have got some... Oh, steering. I positioned it on the ramp expecting it to counteract the steering damage, and it actually ended up flying way straighter than I was expecting it to, so we almost got it into trouble there. There's a regular thing I have to do with these vehicles is actually take them off of ramps and set them up deliberately, what would normally be deliberately wonky, because I'm expecting the damage to kind of counteract it, but sometimes you misjudge it or overestimate, and yeah, you end up like that. There is some steering damage going on at the front now. It's not major. The thing I've got to be wary of is this is already is that? That's a problem. That is a problem. I was about to say the thing I've got to be wary of is if we have steering damage, we're not going to make it through the spinners because it was already on the limit, but it's not going to matter at the end of the day. I lost the back end heading up towards the checkerboard, and off pings the rear wheel. And that's not quite what I expected to have go on. I don't know whether... I say maybe weakened by the thing falling, but I don't think so. I think it was just an unlucky angle. Some vehicles can get away with going sideways across these checkerboards, the D-Series. That could not. Up next, we have got something very silly. This is the Hopper Limo, and it is one of the few mods that is splittable. What I mean by that is the car physically can be cut in half. Now, that is an unlikely thing to happen, during the course of a normal driven till destruction, normal driving, if you will, even. You often have to have an unbelievably big crash, high-speed crash, or something else hit it. However, this course is very, very punishing to chassis. We've seen it time and time again already. If there is a destruction course where we might see the hopper split in two, this is the one. I'm kind of hoping that's the reason for death in this. I'm not going to lie. We are hoping for it to get cut in half. I mean, there's a load of other ways that things can go wrong, much like with the truck. I mean, massive wheelbase, the way it's going to fly through the air is completely different. There's a lot of weight going on, being just a much larger vehicle. Should be entertaining. That's what we're going for here, at least. Fingers crossed. I don't really know what's going to kill it. The hopper is quite strong. The hopper's never done that well around this circuit. It's tended to either rolled and broken something, or had engines go bang in mysterious ways. So we'll see how this goes. I think this is longer than the D series, not by too much, but it is longer. Oh god! You see what I mean about the whole the back end across that? It is worse in this, with the back end kind of making the bouncing worse, if you will. And this is really on the limit of fitting through the spinners here. Fitting through the spinners with pristine condition steering is doable and relatively, I think, it's not completely comfortable, but it is doable. If this gets any sort of steering damage, I don't think I'm getting through the spinners, pretty much, because it has to be very well set up to do it. I just don't think with steering damage I'm going to be able to. But we shall see. I think secretly everyone hopes this car gets eaten by the spinners. Oh, eaten by the spinners, or cut in half while being eaten by the spinners is probably the the requested thing. Glad I'm not actually in the car, because you're not going to see anything. The bonnet is up. How did the car take that landing, damage-wise? Looks okay. Looks a little bit of bending on the chassis, nothing too much. I mean, the first time around is not going to... I mean, I'd hope the first time around it wasn't going to cut in half. It's just the number of times around is going to do damage to it. If it doesn't kill... If it kills the driveline to the rear, doesn't matter. We're four-wheel drive, we've got locking diffs and everything, so we can just run as a front-wheel drive only vehicle. It won't be ideal, but if the drive shaft did go before the whole thing disintegrated, there are ways that we could still make it drive. In theory, this is all feeling quite sketchy in terms of the chassis. How are we doing steering? Steering is still good in this. That is important. We're still going in a straight line, mostly. We've got plenty of power. The radiator's not bust. We did overrev the engine a little bit at the start because of a plank and all that, but never mind. Oh, something went snap. Oh, something in the steering. Well, not snap. Something in the steering has got bent. Now pulls very badly to the left. Oh no, Hopper Limo, don't do this to me. That's very, very wonky steering. Oh, you might get your death by spinner disintegration sooner than sooner than I'd like. It's gonna struggle. I mean, that's me not touching the steering. That's how much left steering we've got, and we've got no right steering lock. So we'll get into the spinners, it's just can we get out the other side? That is the question. Here we go, Hopper. I'm actually concerned now about this vehicle. If we make it through this lap around, how much longer that front end is going to last. Okay, into the spinners we go. Now, try and steer the other... Oh! Okay, that's basically the limit. Any more broken steering, and I'm not sure I can make that turn. We got grazed. We got grazed by the spinner. Oh, this is... I'm concerned now. I'm concerned massively for my steering, because we're all sorts of wonky. We still got steering, we do. I mean, it has killed some of the speed, because I now simply can't drive this vehicle anywhere near as fast. The engine is capable, the suspension to an extent is capable. However, because it pulls so badly to the left, I physically can't drive it as hard. That may save it some damage. It's still going to die. I think I'm most concerned now, forget the fact that it can get cut in half, I'm now very concerned about the steering giving up. Because it's, yeah, the steering rack in the hopper gets twisted, which is what causes this. Like the wheels being set central is now so far to the left, is, I think, from the steering rack being twisted in the car. and it's only going to get worse. And I guess unless you get really lucky and manage to bend it back the other way. I actually see some chassis flexing going on now through there, so if the steering doesn't give up, the front end might fall off. I mean, if we get hit by the spinner, the front end might get flung clear, and that is the important end. I had to really grab the steering there to try and stop it from hitting the start-finish gate, because now it's flying off every jump. Wonky. I'm having to do that, kind of counteract the way it's pulling for all of these jumps to have any chance of flying straight or landing where I want it to, but it's difficult when it is this bad. That now looks quite scary how much that's flexing as it goes through goes across some of these bumps. That's definitely getting worse as well. What's going to give up first, the chassis or the steering? Or are they both going to capitulate at the same time? Oh, it's exhaust scraping at the back. No, it doesn't matter. Exhaust is irrelevant. Apparently it's still connected, so maybe it's like fallen off at the back and still somehow held on at the front. Some good welding has gone on with that, apparently. Right, the Toblerones. These are not good for this vehicle, I wouldn't have thought. That time, actually, not too bad. This is where we know it gets sketchy. Coast it in, and then we're going to have to almost immediately try and counter-steer. I don't have the steering to get it out of there anymore. Well, it's taken a big chunk out of the side of it. I mean, the structural integrity was never great at the front. Now that's made it worse. It's a big gouge down the side. The driver's door's gone. This can only go really well. I can sense he's really pulling left now. Up here. Uh-oh, that's really... Nose down. What was that? Did something break? I mean, I can see, like, the floor in the middle of it is gone. There is no floor holding it together, so it's only going to get wobblier as time goes on. Yes, that is the correct technical term. I've got a really itchy nose as well. We'll just drive one-handed, it's fine. We don't need to be on the throttle at that particular moment in time. We do need to be on the throttle up here, though. Oh, nope, it's getting worse. The middle is scary close to scraping on the floor. A couple more big hits, and I think it's going to snap. The steering is holding. It's holding on. It's a valiant effort from the steering on the truck, because I thought it was going to be a goner a lot sooner than this with how badly broken it is. If anything, it has actually straightened up a bit. Oh, come on, truck. Are you actually scraping your belly on the floor? I think it might be, because we've lost a lot of speed here. That is not good news for the speed bumps that we're about to hit, the water, or the checkerboard. Oh, something's going to snap, but we're across the speed bumps. That's good. Across the jumps we head now a little slower, so we aren't hitting the ground quite as hard. Although it does also mean for the big main jump we may not be hitting the right speed. We may end up with a much wonkier landing. Uh-oh, here comes a dangerous bit. In fact, we may end up overheating the engine. I'm just trying to drag the vehicle along. It's across the water. That's good. Checkerboards, however... Oh, doesn't look good, doesn't sound good, but we are across. Okay, truck. Well, I say what's left of it. We've got to do the spinners. We've got to try and get... It's the right-hand turning that we've got to try and get sorted. I feel like either I've got more used to it, or it's got slightly better. However, this is the real test of the vehicle. Oh, okay, maybe not. So, we've got to get turned, and then we've got to start steering it right here. It's not going to do it. Oh! It still lives. The radiator's gone, and I think we're going to overheat. That's not the hit that we wanted. It's just... it's just a wobble wagon now. There is no structural integrity left in the hopper. However, it is still drivable integrity, maybe. We'll see what happens on the landing of this jump here. Here we go. Oh, it's a big crunch. The rear wheels are still just about on the ground. Oh, God. Can this keep going for another time around? Could this really make it to the spinners? I mean, at the rate it's going, it might actually get damaged to the way where the spinners just go over it because it's been so flattened by them. The spinners are only really hitting... I guess the radiator was a pretty big, important part. But mostly the spinners are only hitting the roof, and that doesn't matter if that tears apart. Well, it does a little bit with this vehicle because it is potential to snap completely. Most beam cars doesn't matter. The coolant is overheating, the engine is dying. Oh dear, is it beached? It is beached. Now, we generally have a rule where low-slung cars, if they get beached, they're given a chance. But for this, I mean, can it physically make it up this hill? So there is a narrower bit. I'm going to give the hopper a chance to make it up there. No, it doesn't actually matter. I think it's so buckled, it is chassis damage that's killed it. I mean, we freed it from where it was wedged, which is fair. Oh, wait, I could lock the diffs up. Maybe that'll give us a chance if we lock everything up. No, it is actually complete chassis damage. I guess that last one bent the front up enough. Damn, so the vehicle, it gets bent to the point where it can no longer drive, I guess, before it gets to the point where it snaps. I was wondering whether it was going to have a big landing somewhere and that was going to snap it, but the answer to that one is no. Still, a highly spectacular run. Survived a couple of hits on the spinners that I didn't think it was going to. That's for sure. Now, of course, I couldn't mention the limo being fed to the spinners without actually seeing what might happen. Because I kind of want to see it. It didn't fall apart. It didn't get torn into two pieces. So I want to see what might happen if we properly feed it into the spinners. It's tough. I think this still drives. It does. I mean, that took a big whack from a spinner there, and it is still okay. I mean, it's not... It's less okay! There it goes! I mean, it's still kind of connected. I'm not 100% sure. It didn't used to do that. It might be some of the texture with the roof. This is a relatively old mod. So there is that going on. Can we just lock everything up? Can I actually still drive with just the front part? It is not happy about this idea. Wait, hold on. Can I? If I disconnect the rear, somehow it's not broken the drive shaft. No, that's disconnected the front. Ah, okay. It's always got drive to the rear. So how do I just go this way? I don't know. We're experimenting with broken things. It's very, very hard to control. Now I go the wrong way around the course. That won't do. Vehicle's any good. It's going to go for another spin. That's fine. It's a shame the roof hasn't been severed properly. Because I feel like that's kind of anchoring us down there some way. I can't actually counter steer at the moment. Could we, perchance, go this way? Yes. This is the ticket. Now, I don't know. I can't avoid the bushes. I've not got the steering to avoid said bushes. We'll just do a little donut. And still struggling. Still trying to point the right direction. There we go. Everything is fine. Everything is not fine because I can't really turn left very well anymore. Oh, it's like an elastic band. At some point it's going to ping back together again. There we go. We're making the turn. I am now kind of glad it didn't separate itself during the run. It would have been quite difficult to have done much like this. If the top bit falls off and we literally just end up with... that might actually be a way to go. Could I just ping off the roof so I can just have the front end? And the roof can ping back. No, don't play with the water. Nobody wants to play with the water. That will ruin all of the fun. And all of our hard work of driving the vehicle this far. Right, come on. Through here. Can I shake something loose? Maybe. No, not quite. Now, could we please... If I get to Dover, we are going to be screwed. Because I can probably find a way up. Around we go. That's fine. We'll just... We're figuring it out. We're figuring out ways of making the whole driving bit work. It's just every so often we're going to spin. And another one for good luck, maybe? I wonder if I can. I'm getting distracted now, but can I? Can I, like, node grab a... I reckon I can tear it off. Because it's not going to be very well connected, I wouldn't have thought. I tore off a bit of it. Don't know if I can tear that off. Oh dear. No, Jeep, flip over. Hopper, back over we go. And you can like connect and deconnect nodes kind of manually, but I don't think you can destroy already made connections, which is kind of what the roll cage is to the roof. At least if you can, I don't know how to do it without, you know, using a spinner, which is a long way away and actually probably too high now for this to be able to do much. I mean, it was as spectacular as I could have possibly hoped. Let's face it, it was the crash that we all wanted to see. Can we go back and reset this? I just want to have one. We're gonna have one more go. I got distracted from the point of this. We should now play around with the splittable hopper and see what happens. Kind of a deal here. Right, here we go. Bounce it across here. That's fine. And chuck it at a spinner to see what might transpire. If we kind of wrap it around the first one like that, can we get it? No. It just doesn't. I had an idea. The idea was solid. The execution, less solid. We have no steering anymore. Well, that's ruined half the fun times here. Oh, we've folded it into a ball. It's not worked how I wanted it to. Well, it has worked exactly how we wanted it to, how you wanted it to. Oh, that animation has changed from how it used to be. That's kind of cool and helpful and everything. Oh, I'm going to over-rev it. Not that it really matters about over-revving the engine when I'm doing this to it. I tell you what, it is tough. I will credit where credit is due. This thing is seriously strong. Yeah, it's going to have... It is... Jeez. I think there's still going to be some... It's mostly the roof that's glitchy, but I think there's some bits of a bit glitchiness is going to go on, funnily enough, if you do tear it in half. It's very cool that you can, but it's going to have issues. Who would have thought? It's very difficult to tear it in half, though. So there we go. Science is being conducted on the destruction course. Everyone's had a good time. So we move on to our leaderboard, and it is actually a pretty damn good showing from the Hopper Limo as it goes into an 18th place. Beats Campervan, beats the Pre-Runner, the Rocket Car, a whole bunch of other vehicles. Yeah, 18th is not bad at all around here for what is a very, very silly vehicle. Hell, it took on the spinners, it got hit a couple of times, once quite hard. Yes, at the end the chassis buckled and it gave way, but it kept going for a lot longer than I thought it was. Not quite as spectacular as it getting cut in half, but still pretty good going. A little bit further down, still pretty good though for the extra long D series. That goes into a 28th place. It was doing fairly well, but just lost the back end a little bit. And once that thing starts going sideways, yeah, the wheel axles on the D series are not so great for that particular. They can do everything, but that particular one, where other cars get away with it fine, the D series apparently not so much. So that was the end of the pickup. But there we go. That is going to be it for this episode. As ever, I shall link all of the mods used in the description, so you can download them and have a go with them yourself. That, though, shall be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.